nonpartisan politics that we all espouse in the city of Stow and the areas that surround Stow sometimes. So what we have as our slogan is progress, not partisanship. We are Republicans, we are Democrats, we are independents, and that is why we put together this candidates night for you, and I hope that you will learn a great deal tonight. My name is Tom Stow, and I'm the secretary of the CNP group, and tonight we're going to have several people who have been involved in CNP for several years serve as our moderators. We have Karen Fritchell, who was a past president of CNP. Wave to the people. Jan D'Antonio, who is also a past president of CNP. We also have students from Stow Monroe Falls High School. They will all stand and wave from the National Honor Society. We thank them for helping out today. And our timekeeper for the evening, longtime community activist, Barb Porter. One of the things that we're doing this year, because of such a large field of candidates, anyone who is unopposed is not going to be up here this evening. However, many of them are here, and I will introduce them later. They will take questions and answers personally a little bit later in the program. They will stay a little bit longer. That's what I want you to understand. We also have two representatives from the two county issues, and if they will stand, Bill Romer and Sandra Kurt are here. They're waving in the back. Again, because of time, we decided not to have them speak, but they will be staying and they will explain things to you over at the candidates table, or the issues table. We also have two Stow charter issues that will be discussed, if you like. Andy Denton is here to present that. Where's Andy? I know. There she is. All right. So we have people here who can answer questions. There are seats in the front, if you like. It's not church. It's okay. All right. I want to go over some of the format and the rules for the evening. Only opposed candidates or their representatives will be speaking to you tonight. Only opposed candidates or their representatives. Now, if a candidate has sent a representative, he or she will simply present their background, their qualifications, whatever it is they want to say. They will not be answering questions. The representative, or whoever is up here, they will have 2 minutes to speak about their candidate but not answer questions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to give their qualifications and background. The timekeeper will hold up cards indicating when 1 minute, 30 seconds, and 15 seconds are left, and a red stop card when at the end of 2 minutes. Is it red? Yeah, okay, it says stop. All right. Then they will ring a bell. Ring that bell. Yes. The moderators will present to the candidates, one at a time, a basket containing questions in sealed envelopes pertaining to their office. The candidate will select an envelope and return it to the moderator, who will ask only that candidate the question that he or she drew out of the basket. The candidates will then have 2 minutes to answer that question. After all the candidates have answered their selected question, each will have 1.5 minutes to answer a general question that I will read. If we have any latecomers, any candidate arriving after their office has presented will have 2 minutes to present only their background qualifications after all the other candidates have spoken. So, I think we have almost all the candidates who are coming, don't we, Faith? I'm pretty sure, so I don't think that'll be a problem tonight. All right, what we are going to do is, in the program you have the order of the candidates as well. We are going to begin with the candidates for municipal court judges. If Lisa Coates, Leanne Schaefer, and David Warhatch will come to the dais. All right. All right. Now I'm on. All right, let's begin with our moderators. Janet? Yes, we're going to do that before you go up there. Let's begin. I'm going to move things along. All right, let's begin. Closest to me, Leanne Schaefer.
Okay. Hi, good evening. Thanks everyone for coming. It's an honor and a privilege to be here tonight. My name is Leanne Schaefer, and I am the nonpartisan candidate for the Stow Municipal Court. I have received both of my degrees from the University of Akron, Bachelor of Science in Business Marketing, and my Juris Doctorate as well. I've been a resident of the Stow Court jurisdiction for over 30 years, 25 of which I've spent as a practicing attorney here in Ohio State and federal courts. Throughout the course of my entire legal career, I've represented clients on all aspects of the justice system. I've been a prosecutor, I've been defense counsel, I've been corporate counsel, I've been plaintiff's litigation attorneys. In my role as a guardian ad litem, I've protected and served the most vulnerable members of our community, those being abused and neglected children. These 25 years of experience are unparalleled by any of the other candidates. In my current experience as general counsel for drug court participants in the Summit County Juvenile Court system, I've gained an acute understanding of the substance abuse issues which are facing our clients today. In my role as a judge, I would work diligently to try and solve those problems in order to end some of the heartbreak that's faced by the families in our community who are suffering from drug addiction of themselves or their loved ones. Additionally, I had the honor and privilege of serving as the mayor of this fine city for 4 years. I was the first female mayor of Stow. That experience has given me an understanding of operations, which I could assist Judge Hoover in on the day-to-day operations of the court. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the unique opportunity this November to follow in the lead of Chief Justice Maureen O'Connor and create the first nonpartisan court in the state of Ohio. The judicial system needs to be free from politics, and in my role as judge, I would respectfully see to that happens. I request your vote on November the 3rd. Please remember, in November, you'll be safer if you vote Schaefer. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to Lisa Coates.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Coates, and I am a judge at the Stow Municipal Court. I have 12 years of experience as a judge and formerly as a prosecutor, and I also work for the federal government. I am up for re-election for my 3rd term. During my time on the bench as a judge, I have seen an increasing number of substance abuse and mental health issues come before the court, generally on a daily basis. It is more important now than ever that we help those people that are coming before the court with treatment and education. This is more than just putting them in jail. The jails are overcrowded, and we need to step up and help them. And to that end, I have initiated some programs to help in that cause. The first of those is the diversion program. I started with an alcohol underage diversion program. It is solely for first-time offenders and is meant to educate them so that they do not continue to reoffend. At the same time, it assists them in dismissing the charge if they successfully complete the program so that they do not end up having this conviction that may harm them in the future. The other program that is near and dear to my heart is the mental health court, a court that I created in 2010 for a specialized court in Stow, and it is actually the only specialized court in Stow. It was certified by the Ohio Supreme Court in 2014. It is a 24-month program, and it is intensive. I see the participants weekly, and the sole purpose of this program is to get people back on track, to make sure they're maintaining their treatment, their medications, and improving their lives. And the sole purpose is to reduce recidivism. I have been the presiding judge on that court since 2010. I'd like to continue serving as your judge, and I ask for your vote on November 3rd.
Thank you. And now, David Warhatch.
Thank you and good evening. I'm David Warhatch, and I'm running for Stow Municipal Judge in this coming election. I thank you all for coming out tonight. I'm just wondering if the crowd would have been as great if the Indians had made the playoffs, but because they would have been playing tonight. I'm running for Stow Municipal Judge because I've spent a career doing all the things that a municipal judge would have to do. I've tried civil and criminal cases that a municipal judge would have. I have a vast amount of experience as a trial lawyer throughout the country on a wide variety of cases. One of the things I do know how to do best is to persuade individuals to try to settle their differences rather than trying to force a judge to litigate them to some conclusion. I have more years of professional experience, I believe, if I've read my opponent's credentials correctly. I have more years of professional experience in practicing law at 36 than my two opponents have combined. I've spent a professional lifetime studying the judiciary and the judicial process. And as a law clerk and a trial and appellate practitioner, I think I've got a pretty good handle for what it takes to be a good judge. My writing skills are pretty well received, and the fact of the matter is that I believe that this district in particular needs a little more attention to the fiscal aspects of the court. Not a lot has been talked about that, but we've had spiraling court costs. Costs a lot of money now to bring cases in this court, as compared to other municipal courts that are either larger or about comparable in our size. I also share with Ms. Schaefer the view that we need to take political fray and put it aside. Get everybody out of the political fray. That's why I resigned my long-standing position with the Democratic Party of Summit County to make sure I would be a truly nonpartisan judge. I hope I have your support. I don't believe that money in judges mix ever, and I'm not taking contributions.
Thank you, Mr. Warhatch. Now we will present the questions that they get to choose. And again, the order doesn't matter because they each will have their own question. Yes.
It's like the Academy Awards. Can't look me on the wall.
I shouldn't tell you this, but actually they were hermetically sealed because they settled. What do you think is the most important issue regarding the Stow Municipal Court today? Why and how would you address it? Read for you again.
I believe at this time that the most important issue before the Stow Municipal Court is the fact that we definitely need a drug court, a substance abuse court. I understand that we do have a mental health court, which is a noble gesture, but at this time, especially given the heroin, the rising heroin deaths that we've got, we have to implement a drug court. We have to help these people save themselves. Prison is not an answer. Getting them into jail is not an answer. We need to partner with the providers in the community, which is what we do in the juvenile drug court program. On a weekly basis, our participants come in, and these are people who have lost children as a result of their drug use. So not only are we looking to reunify them with children, but we're looking to get them safe and sober. The program is only 18 months old, but in that 18 months we've had 4 graduates, we've had 25 clients come through that are still working the program. We partner with all of the service providers in the area. I think that we need to seek out some grant funding for that, or look at economies of scale. There's nothing that says that the Stow Court could not partner in collaborative efforts with Akron Municipal Court, or with Fort H County, which is right next door. They have drug courts in those programs, and it's got to be cost effective, of course, for the court to run that. But again, I think substance abuse court is something that is the most incredible issue right now facing the court, and that's based on personal experience because most of my cases are drug courts. So a collaborative effort, to develop the court, to make it cost effective, but again, to keep the community safe because too many lives are being lost and too many families are suffering heartbreak as a result of substance abuse in this jurisdiction.
All right, thank you. Karen, you'll present her. Dan, you're going to do all of them? All right.
Judge Coates, please describe your judicial temperament in detail.
Well, to be a judge, you obviously have to have judicial temperament. And you have a lot of people come before you, many of them who are of a different walk of life than you may be. And sometimes it's very difficult to get people to understand where you're coming from or why they have to go to jail. And it takes patience on the bench. But sometimes it does take, and it's not that you're yelling at them to be mean to them, it's yelling at them or it's saying, hey, do you understand where your life is heading? And so it takes a wide range of ways to get through to them to help them make changes in their lives. Some of the times it's a sympathetic ear. Life's tough. You've got mental health issues, your family's falling apart, you've just got a divorce, we can help you with that. But when someone comes back before you a second or third or fourth time, obviously your tone has to change, and it isn't being mean, and it isn't that you're not being fair and impartial, but it's saying, I'm trying to save your life, and today you have to leave for jail because I know that's the only way that it's going to save your life. And sometimes they don't like that, and sometimes they respond back in a different way that's not appropriate for them to say to a judge, and you have to learn how to handle that. It takes different kinds of personality depending on who is in front of you at different times. But I believe that I've always been fair, always listened to everyone's side, and I feel I've always been fair and impartial in every case I've heard. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, the final question, Mr. Warhatch. Yeah. We have one more question and a number of candidates in each basket. Janet? Oh, you want help?
Mr. Warhatch, what do you think is the most important need in the Stow Municipal Court today?
Well, aside from continuing to dispense justice impartially and fairly, I think that the court has three crying needs immediately. One is, I referred to before, the spiraling costs of not running the court, but being charged to the users of the court right now. You realize that Stow Municipal Court has the highest fees charged for civil cases in all of Summit County for municipal courts. In addition to that, if you happen to want a jury trial, they're going to exact $400 from you on top. Whether or not you have a trial, whether or not the trial is ever going to occur, which means that a filing fee of $582 is going to be exacted of you. If you don't have the jury trial, you get the $400 back, but for a lot of people, $582 is a lot of money to start a case that can't be worth more than $15,000 by the jurisdictional limits of the court. That's even more than it costs to start a case in federal court these days. I also think that there's a problem that's developed, and I know Judge Coates knows about it, and that is that the clerk of this court is not always making sure that the notices of decisions by the judges are getting to the lawyers. That's wrong. The judges are in charge of administering the court, and they should be on the clerk about making sure that those decisions are in fact gotten into the hands of the parties and their lawyers. That's wrong. And the last one, I think, is this political fray I talked about. What we really need to do is make sure that whoever is dispensing justice cannot have their loyalties questioned. That's why I'm not accepting any campaign contributions, because I do not think judges and money mix. Never have and never will. What I believe is that I would be a truly nonpartisan and independent judge, and therefore help bring about the objectives of impartiality and justice.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Warhatch. All right, now, as I mentioned earlier, I will now ask each of the candidates to answer a general question that has been provided to me, and we'll go in a different order. We'll start with Mr. Warhatch. Each candidate will have 1.5 minutes to answer this very general question. And the question is, any further comment? Answer the question mark, so it is a question.
I've been a trial lawyer for 36 years. I probably have a few things.
All right.
Actually, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out, and I want to thank the organizers of this event. It's always a very good event. I will say that the important thing to consider here is the fact that you have in this opportunity in 2015 a real chance to make a difference in this court. Are we going to continue with the, shall I say, politics of the past? Or are we going to break free and actually have a truly nonpartisan court? That doesn't mean forming alliances with the clerk, with the other judge, etc. That means all three working together, independently, but together for the same good. I believe that I can devote my talents that I have developed over the years as a practitioner in both civil and criminal practice to bring the needed reform and to improve the confidence that people in this district will have that justice will be dispensed evenly, fairly, and without regard for who helped you get that office.
Thank you. Let's go right to Lisa Coates. Any further comments?
Since it's been brought up, I'd like to address the fact of this nonpartisan and whether I am playing politics. And I want to make it very clear that I am a registered Republican, and this is the first time as a judge I've had to run in a partisan race. I ran Republican because I am a Republican, but that doesn't mean I play party politics. I have run 4 races, and never in those 4 races have I taken, as my committee, taken any money from the Summit County Republican Party, the State Republican Party. I appointed 1 person on behalf of the party at one point. I've never done it again. And in fact, my last bailiff that I hired, I did it against the party's recommendation. And actually somebody in this room referred me to her, and that's been the best bailiff I've ever had. So I don't put people in jobs. I don't take money from the party. I just am a Republican who's doing her job, and I think I do it well. I think I am fair and impartial. I think I work hard. I think my track record over 12 years has been proven. And if I am playing partisan politics, then somebody ought to explain it to me, because I'm just not that type of person. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, Leanne Schaefer. Any further comments?
Thank you. I too want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I appreciate what my opponents are saying. In terms of partisan politics, everyone in here knows that when I was the mayor of Stow, I ran as a Republican. A few years ago, I think maybe 7 or 8, I voted in a Democratic primary because I've always been one to vote my conscience. I mean, by no means am I ever going to say that you can't be a Republican or you can't be a Democrat, because those ideals belong. They belong in places like the legislature, but they don't belong in the judicial system. So after having been a Republican and having been a Democrat, I am indeed a nonpartisan. My years of experience as a lawyer in what I've done, I think, while Mr. Warhatch may have more years, although 25, I've been a lawyer 25 and judge's been a judge 12, that's 37, so 36 is a little less than 37. We're lawyers, we don't do math well, but that's what I picked up on. But again, 25 years of experience, 30 years as a member of this community and as nonpartisan. I have all of the qualifications to be the operational parts of the court, as well as the legal experience to be the judge, and I would ask for your vote on November 3rd. Thank you.
And I'd like to have a round of applause for all three candidates. And I'm assuming that all three will be staying throughout the evening to answer questions. I know some of the candidates in other races have to leave, but I'm asking each group if they're going to stay. You can ask them questions later, one-on-one.
I'm sorry, I can't stay because I have a temporary restraining order tomorrow morning I've got to take care of. So I have to leave, go
But
back to the office.
not on you. Thank you. We're changing our name tags so that we will be calling our candidates for the Stow Municipal Clerk of Courts. If Kevin Coughlin, Diana Colavecchio, and Don Robart will come up to the dais, we will get on with them. All right, we will begin with our first candidate, Diana Colavecchio, who will tell you a little bit about herself. I think it should be on that.
This is on?
Yep.
Great. Thank you, CMP, for hosting this wonderful event. I was here 2 years ago, and it's great to be back. Thank you all to my supporters who showed up tonight as well. Some of you will remember that when I was here 2 years ago, I was then serving as your clerk. It was an absolute honor to serve as your clerk. I have always valued my public service and tried to use my position to make a positive difference, and not just within the confines of the office I've held, but also in our community. I was a full-time clerk. I had transitioned my law practice to my husband. The demands of the job required that, and I'll do it again if the voters decide to support me on November 3rd. I served for just 10 months, but in that short time period, I achieved many successes that I'm still proud of. I implemented the policies that paid for the new case management system being installed now. For example, we increased revenues by starting to collect 2% of all wage garnishments filed in the court. That was something the court had not done before I had gotten there, despite that most courts in Ohio were doing it. And we tripled the amount charged in case filings to specifically increase the technology fund. Many courts had already increased their technology funds to prepare for costs of new computer systems on the way. I know that had I been elected 2 years ago, we would have no doubt completed the transition to an electronic case filing system long before today. I'm the only attorney in this race, and that provides me with 26 years of legal knowledge I bring to the job. I know how courts work, and I know how to keep the court from being sued. When a clerk gets sued, the law director has to represent the clerk, and that comes at a cost to taxpayers. Clerks get into trouble when they fail to follow Ohio laws, such as the court's mandated security policy and Ohio public records law. As your former clerk and an attorney, I have the superior skill set to hit the ground running on January 1.
Thank you, Ms. Colavecchio. Next, we'll hear from Kevin Coughlin.
Thanks very much. 15 years later, and David Warhatch is still running against me. Thanks very much for having this tonight. 2 years ago, the voters of this court district spoke loud and clear that they want nonpartisan courts. They want partisan politics out of our courts when they elected Kim Hoover, our judge, and me as clerk of court. Both of us filing as nonpartisans and running as nonpartisans. And not just giving lip service to that, but actually governing in that way as well. This, for me, was an opportunity to run a public enterprise as a business, to bring business sense and management, to clean up an office that was notoriously mismanaged, had notoriously bad customer service. And we've done that. It's worked. We have Republicans, Democrats, independents working side by side. Some held over from the previous administration, some new people, but the point is they're there on merit. They're there because they can do the job and they fit within the new system that we put in place. We've cleaned up the mismanagement. We've improved customer service and created a customer culture of customer service. We've improved the access to our case files through our new technology. We've reduced paper by getting rid of our old historic files that are not really sought after very often. That's freed up space not only in City Hall but also in the courthouse. We've implemented a new computer system, a new case management system that's been needed for years. We fixed the chronic breakdowns that happen every day telephones and computers dropped. Nobody did anything about it. They just said, well, I guess that's what they do, and we have to live with it. We fixed those things, and now we have a new system that's going to allow us to become a paperless court. Finally, we've cut our budget to its lowest level since 2001. We cut our staff from 17 full-time clerks to 15 full-time clerks, which has allowed our judges to pay our building construction down 53 months ahead.